On everyone. I got the chat message up real quick, but I'm probably not going to be able to read any of them towards the end. But welcome to another live stream session. No guests on today, but what we have is another outdoor segment right here in my front yard of just a few things that we're just going to show you for your next assignment. What we're going to go over today is just a little review on the written assignment, which I'm actually very proud of from a lot of you students. So I'm going to give you a little feedback on that, and then I'm going to explain our next assignment that you'll be doing via FlipGrid, something that some of you have done before, and you get to do it for this next assignment. So first with the written assignment, just to reiterate again that I'm a little proud of some of the things that you guys have shown. I asked for a one-page requirement, which some of you have asked upon. Is it one page this or one page that? And I just go, hey, give your best content and let the rest take care of itself. And it was just great because I was reading just about every single one, like I should be, but you gave me good reason to read it anyway. Just because of the cool things that you guys have been sharing just with your reflection. One thing that I noticed the most on the last question when I asked you if we were to go back to Leicester High School tomorrow, what were some of the habits that you would keep or not want to keep? Only a few of you have admitted that you haven't been doing anything other than sitting around playing video games, just no movement at all. So the transparency within that I appreciate, which kind of explains this next assignment and give you the opportunity to try some things new. Basically, the theme behind this assignment is boredom can be the mother of creativity in some ways. But what a lot of you have actually shared is that the benefits of you actually getting your sleep in, taking the initiative of actually doing something in regards for movement, and how much better you feel about it. A lot of you suggested, okay, yeah, the sleep schedule is going to change a little bit, obviously naturally given, but just the reflection and the transparency is something that I was just happy to read and see from a lot of you. Some of you have even written that you feel great just because you have this ability to manage your time and get a workout in or play some fun games. So that kind of explains the next assignment that I have here for you. So later today, it's going to be posted on Google Classroom. You're going to have a FlipGrid link that you're going to use. You're also going to have this live stream recorded and posted on the Google Classroom as a YouTube channel where I upload all my other videos. So if you're not watching this now, you can watch it later. That shows all the instructions and details that you can include on this assignment. It's going to be written in the Google Classroom, but you have this video as well. You're going to be using the FlipGrid link to submit your assignment. You're given up to 2 minutes. So before I give you the details of this, the purpose of this assignment is to give you the understanding of physical activity and exercise. There's a difference between the two. So a lot of your weekly logs that some of you have been submitting ever since we started remote learning, or even in your written assignment, you've shown some things that you do that would categorize under physical activity. Some of you have done things that would categorize under exercise. And it's important to understand the difference between the two. Here's physical activity. Physical activity is something that the American Heart Association wants you to get every week, or at least 60 minutes of it a day. Something that the American Heart Association wants you to get. That is anything that isn't sitting down or laying down. You're doing something and it burns an X amount of calories. So you can kind of see the open book on the things that you can be doing. That is physical activity. Heck, me standing here talking right now could constitute under physical activity. So there's a little bit of a leeway with that, which is important to get. And some of you have shown some things that could be physical activity. Going for a walk, gardening, helping mom bring the groceries in or something like that. Anything that burns calories but does not create a lot of stress for the body, which is what exercise is. Exercise can be a physical activity, but the exercise is a daily occurrence where you are putting stress on your body. By stress, I mean you're making your body fatigued. By the end of it, your body is tired and you need time to recover. So as you keep doing this throughout time, your body's actually going to adapt and you're going to improve in whatever area that the exercise allows for. So for example, some of you that like to run 5 to 10 miles a day, that's considered a good amount of stress that you're putting on your body, and you keep doing that throughout time, your body's going to adapt, which then gets into the category of training, but we're not going to go over that today. We're just going to stick with physical activity and exercise. Some of you have been lifting weights every single day, which is creating an amount of stress on your body. which is a good thing because your body's going to adapt, whether you're improving on your cardiovascular endurance, your muscular endurance, or your muscular strength. That's where exercise could play in. And exercise can be physical activity, but there's physical activity that isn't exercised. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration today on what you could do in your FlipGrid. Here's the requirement for you submitting your assignment. You notice how I'm outside, out in my front yard. You have to do this outside as well. Get outside, go do something, and show that there's an understanding of what you're doing is physical activity or exercise. Some of you may actually be doing the same thing. One of you say it's physical activity, the other of you say that it's exercise, and it's not an issue of one being right or one being wrong, because if you have an understanding, that person that say it's exercise, it can actually be stressful for that person and creates fatigue on the body. For somebody else, it can be not that stressful, and it's just physical activity. It's just something fun that they like to do. Neither one is wrong, but if you have an understanding of it, then you can apply it in any way that you like. If it's something that you want to try for a fun game or for an activity, to get yourself started, for those of you that haven't been really doing anything, I'm hoping the wind right here isn't deafing me out too much, so I'll try to talk a little bit louder. I don't know if you noticed with the leaves in the back, I just had a huge gust pass through here. But some of the things that you guys can be doing just to get yourself started, or if you have already been doing things such as a lot of physical activity, maybe you could try new things that are exercise, that actually create a little bit of stress, a little bit of fatigue, so that your body can recover. There's that little connection now for some of you. Yeah, the sleep pattern's going to change. Well, here's where sleep can be important. If you're looking to step something up in this area, you could step up in the other area. Going to bed at a reasonable time and get your 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration, and there's a little story behind it. Like what I said before, boredom can be a great enabler or foster of creativity, and that's something that I could show you here. This is something for me would be physical activity. It's not a lot of stress on the body, but I'm not sitting around and I'm not laying down. It's something that I'm doing that is technically burning calories, but it's just a fun game that I made up, and it's fun to do. This is something that I'd like for a lot of you to share. For your submission on the FlipGrid, you could do a game, you could do an activity, heck, you could do an exercise. Just show within the 2 minutes. You don't have to go up to 2 minutes. You could be less than 2 minutes. Give a demonstration yourself on what it is that you're deciding to do, whether it's a fun game or it's an exercise, and just explain which one it is and why is it that to you. Why is it a physical activity to you? Why is it an exercise to you? You could even explain if it turned into an exercise, but now it's just something fun that you do now because you've been doing it for a long time. You've allowed your body to adapt and improve and get better. So this is just a little demonstration that I'm going to give for you guys. You may not be able to see it on the video, but on the tree, are you guys in? Yep, you're in the video right there. So there's a tree right there in my front yard, and there's actually a net panel that I tied up for it. So you can tell I got really bored one day, and I put a 12 by 12 net panel up. So it's got a little target area where I can throw baseballs. This is something that I like to do, keep my arm healthy, and it's something fun. So I'm not completely losing my mind with boredom that I'm sure a lot of us are being related to. I actually made a little bit of a game. I have buckets of baseballs, and I took the time before to get myself my arm all warmed up. So if you're going to go ahead and try and do this, don't do it completely cold. Give yourself time to warm up and get loose. But it's actually just a fun little activity. I call it just a little bit of target practice. It's some of the things that I like to do that help take care of my arm, and it has a little bit of benefit for the body, but it's really just a fun game. And so for me, this is going to count as a physical activity. I try to throw these baseballs in between the two trees so that it hits the net. And I do it from all sorts of different little positions. So I'm just going to give you a small demonstration on a couple here. I go from this distance. Some of you are going to go shorter. Some of you are going to go farther if you choose to do this, but you can do your own thing. This is just my own thing. I'll give one little throw where I'll actually just throw on one leg. You can't really see, but I'm actually standing only on my right leg. My shoulders are facing towards the 90 degrees away from the trees, and all I just do is I take one of the baseballs, I throw it. There you go, I'm 1 for 1 right there. I'm gonna go and try again. Trust me, I've missed flies, so if I do it here on the live stream, it's nothing embarrassing. There we go, I gotta try again, redeem myself. Ah, God. Yep, I'm certainly gonna try again. There we go, all right. So I hit the tree right there. I don't wanna necessarily try to do that. That's one thing that I like to do. I'll also go the other way. So I turn around, I have my feet staggered, my shoulders are going the other direction, and I just try to keep my feet cemented to the ground, turn my chest, and then I turn and rotate and hit the net right there. There's another one, 2 for 2 on that one. And then I'll keep this one real simple. I'll stagger my feet so that my chest is still pointing in the other direction, but I'm on both feet. Both feet are cemented to the ground. Shoulders pointing towards my target. And I just throw, and I hit the net right there. I'll hit the tree again. I'm gonna try one more time. I've had some rounds where I'm perfect. Had some rounds not so much. This is a little below average for my other demonstration. So look, what I just did right there is something that you could do. If you do exactly this, well then I guess that's a little bit of copying, so don't do that. But that doesn't mean you can't take baseballs outside and throw them towards something and create your own little game. That's my little game that I made right there. So that's your assignment that you're gonna be given. It's gonna be posted at the end of the day today, because I gotta take this live stream, upload it on the YouTube, and then you'll be able to see it on the Google Classroom for those of you that miss it. But that's something that's gonna be due sometime next week. You'll see the due date then. Try some things different. Show what you have been doing. You're gonna have that opportunity of actually showing and demonstrating the things that you've been doing under this quarantine. And if you haven't been doing anything, like what some of you have already admitted, which we appreciate, here's your opportunity now where you could show something. And remember, you have to be able to just explain your understanding of what you're doing is physical activity or exercise. Remember, physical activity, that's what the American Heart Association wants you to get at least every day. You're not sitting down, you're not laying down, you're doing something so that it's burning calories. That's a pretty wide book. Exercise can also be physical activity, but you have to do it with enough intensity or through enough time so that it's creating stress on your body. It's a daily exercise, something that's producing stress for you, and then you need time to recover for it. All right? So that's something that that you're going to be given for your assignment. That was it for today. That's just kind of what we wanted to go over today, a reflection on the written pieces, which I thought was fantastic overall. And now you have this next one right here where you can actually display some of your interests. And remember, just repeat again, it could be almost anything. Be creative. It could be a game that you made up. This is just a silly little game that I made up in my front yard, and it counts under as physical activity. You could do something like that if it's something that you're doing with one of your family members or a neighbor or something like that. You could show that as well. This is where you can get creative. You just have to be able to show that you understand what you're doing is either physical activity or exercise. So that's all that I have for today. If you guys have any questions, you know how to reach out to me. By all means, go right ahead. Then that's all that I got. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. I hope you all do the same. Have a good one.